Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey guys, welcome to Pop Culture Warrior. I'm CQ, and if you're here, I hope you're here on purpose. That was, we did it. We're here. We made it. We're done, right? Everybody go home. No, I'm just kidding. I'm super excited to be hosting this new show on WTF Nation Radio. This has been a dream of mine for quite a while. I'm excited. I want to introduce everybody. I'm assuming most of the people that have tuned in are probably friends and family of mine, and hopefully some of the WTF Nation faithful. And so let me introduce you to my co-host, Radar. You there, bud?
Yes, sir. What's up?
What is going on, sir? How are you doing tonight?
I'm fucking fantastic. How are you?
Oh man, I'm through the roof, man. I could not be happier right now. This is very exciting. What do you think? What do you think about being a part of this new show?
Man, I'm pretty stoked. I'm gonna throw this. I told you, but I'm gonna throw this out for people who don't know. That's a caveat because Spanky's here. I'm not the most pop culture savvy person, so I'm more the lay person. So I can help translate, I guess, or run some questions by you that might help other people.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, you're about to get an education, son. You're about to become a pop culture phenomenon. You're gonna know the ins and outs of pop culture when we're through with you.
Good, because I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, because you got kids, right?
I do. I have a lot.
You have like a litter? You have a litter of children? Is that what?
Oh God, I've got four. I've got four, and Ms. Radar has 4 as well.
Oh my goodness, you guys are running like a whole boarding house there.
Just about, yeah, it's ridiculous. But
Awesome.
it's not that bad. In the next 5 years, we're gonna have 4 kids graduate high school. So I don't know what we're gonna do with ourselves then.
Oh my goodness, this is gonna be a lot of free time you're not expecting.
Mm-hmm. Go have to buy a new Harley or something. So
Hey. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for riding shotgun with me. This is the first time I've run a radio broadcast, a show. So I appreciate having somebody who's been around the block a bit, and this is one of those moments where I know I'm gonna remember it for a lifetime, no matter what happens. If this thing bombs, I'm gonna ride it ride it to the ground. So I'm super excited, but all right. Well, shit. I guess we just get started, right? That's what we do here. We start talking and doing our thing.
absolutely.
All right. Cool. So the way I envision Pop Culture Warrior, kind of coming to you guys in the audience is that, we all live busy lives, for those that are still active in the military, for those that are veterans, for those that are supporters, it's hard to keep a pulse of everything in the pop culture world, but from gaming to comics to movies to TV, comedy, all these aspects, we're inundated with all these different avenues of getting information. So I'm a big fan. I love it. I eat it up. And so it kind of all started when I used to chat with my friends, who I'm sure a lot of them are. Sorry, I'm looking at the chats. You guys are already lighting it up. I love it. My small group of friends, I'd always be like, oh, did you see this news? And oh, did you see this news? And I had one actually come up to me, he goes, without you, I wouldn't get my pop culture news. Like I wouldn't know what's coming up or what's happening or who's being talked to about what. So it kind of sparked this idea to have a show where I do just that. And instead of doing it for a small close group of friends, I do it for all of you at home. So thank you for joining me into the show, and Radar to you as well. I want to talk movies. I want to talk TV. I want to talk gaming. I want to talk comic books, video, all types of gaming, board gaming, video gaming, card gaming. And then another passion of mine is stand-up comedy. So talk about what's going on in stand-up comedy, share clips, enjoy that stuff. And a kind of spur of the moment idea that came to me earlier today, which I'm very excited to share with you guys, is I would like to, at the end of every show, the last few minutes of every show, is highlight a veteran out there, particularly ones that are doing stand-up comedy, and share a good, a 5-minute clip of what they love to do, and some truly extraordinary, funny, entertaining people that are out there that are veterans or active duty. And so we'll close the show with a really great clip from each week from a different person. I'm excited. If you guys know any veterans that are comedians, I have quite a few, but for those of you that aren't close friends with me, send me your clips, man. I'd love to air it at some point in the future. It makes me happy to share some of the spotlight with deserving people who are out there really working hard and getting after it. So without much further ado, let's start. Check this out. I've got something queued up for you, right? Check this out. I've been messing with this all day. Boom! Movie news. Ta-da! Little pop-up. I did that. That's me. I did this right there. I did that. I created that thing. So, Radar. I know you're not the biggest buff in pop culture, but I'm sure you're aware of the actor Gary Sinise.
Yes, I've heard of him.
You've heard of him?
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan without the legs. That's right. Legendary actor Gary Sinise. This is a guy, and I've met him on multiple occasions. Awesome dude. The stories you hear don't do justice. He's an incredible man. He does so much. For every accolade that he gets, or for every recognition he gets, he does like 1,000 more things that never see the light of day. He's been helping the veteran community for years and years and years and years. And I think it's pretty cool that he's finally been recognized at kind of a higher level. So I've got an article where it says that basically he's being recognized for his years of work with veterans and families and organizations that support them. So the Congressional Medal of Honor Society recently awarded Sinise in honor of his significant contributions over the past decade plus. Even before he established the Gary Sinise Foundation back in 2010, the actor, best known for his role as Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump, has time and again given his time and money to help those who bravely served our country as well as their families. So the Patriot Award, the Congressional Medal of Honor Society's highest honor, recognizes those who have made significant contributions to the American military services, something now universally synonymous with Sinise and his work. So I know quite a bit of veterans that know that this is a long overdue kind of award for him. He's an incredible guy, and honestly should have been, his Time Magazine's Person of the Year numerous times over. So very excited to see him, get such an honor. It's an incredible thing for him, and yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what he does in the future. Anything to add on?
Well, I had the pleasure of meeting him a couple years ago. He came out for the rally, and they do a veterans ride kind of deal, and it starts at the Air Force Base, and he was one of the distinguished service guests that came up for it, and it was pretty neat. He rode in the limo. He didn't ride a motorcycle, so I'm kind of on the fence about him. But you can't come to a motorcycle rally and not ride a Harley. That's
Yeah,
kind of
I mean, it's one of those.
No, a really
things.
nice guy. He came up and he was shaking it. He could have just kind of hung out like everyone else does, but he made it a point to everyone who has some sort of, like on my Harley vest, I've got like a U.S. Army retired patch or whatever, and made a comment, a point to go to everybody that was a service member or looked like a service member and talk with them for a few. It was pretty cool. Cool. Really nice. The 10 minutes I spent with him was very enjoyable, but you can't judge someone off 10 minutes. But seemed all right to me. He's like an all right guy.
Well, yeah, he's a great guy. I'm scrolling through the chats, and I see we've got a lot of commenters already. I see Mike Larson. Do you have a picture with him? I do in fact have a picture with him. Mike Larson, I know you're a good buddy of mine, and I know you're making fun because I honestly believe in the whole Pixar didn't happen, right? Because anyone can say, oh, I met so and so, but if you've got no evidence, then it's really not a story worth sharing because you can't prove it. So yes, I do have a picture with Gary Sinise in the times that I've met him, and very funny comments. Yeah, and thank you guys for all tuning in. I mean, obviously, I see the boards lighting up, and I appreciate all you guys. I would love to scroll through and name by name. Thank you guys for coming. I'm not there yet, so I'll work on that. But Christopher, what's up? Hey, how's it going, man? I see Flatbed Trucker. I believe he took military kids to Disneyland. He did. I did hear that story. He did do that. And then I know I saw a comment in there about how Denzel Washington is another guy who did a bunch for veterans, very unceremoniously. I think he like built like a Fisher House for veterans families at the hospitals. So he's one of those guys who also does a lot. So awesome.
I think Gary Sinise doesn't his charity do that every year?
The Fly Kids to Disney thing. Yeah, they like get a whole plane and everything. It's a pretty cool. If you don't know about it, man, look it up. It's pretty cool, guys. What he's doing for his, he has a great saying, and I wish I had saved it, but he talks about it's easy for him to throw money at it. He's a celebrity, he's got money and he's got time and he can do all these things, but he really talks about that anybody can make a difference, even if you just serve a little bit of time at a soup kitchen, a veterans homeless shelter, or going to see people as you go to the veteran senior centers, and spend time with them. So it's you can do anything regardless of your station in life. So I see Tim Morgan. Hey, what's up, bud? How you doing? Christopher, do I see Mjolnir? Yes, that's Mjolnir. Just Thor put it down. I can't move it, so it's just been sitting there for a while. So that's also you guys did that. Great. Okay, awesome. Let's keep this train rolling, man. Something that nobody's getting in this. Something I'm obviously a big Marvel fan. You probably can't see it, but got my Marvel shirt on, and if the background didn't allude that I'm a Marvel fan, I mean I'm a general geek. So I like DC products. I like Image and Skybound and all the different products. Obviously, I'm preferential to Marvel, basically because I grew up in New York City, and as a kid, that Marvel was New York City. It wasn't Metropolis or Gotham. It was New York City. So I saw myself in a lot of those characters, and I saw my my neighborhoods in a lot of those characters, and so that's why I ended up being more of a Marvel fan. But I love all things 516. All right, so anyway, so speaking of Marvel, and what I want to do is, I know there's a lot of misinformation and mixed information. There's I want to focus some stuff on like what's confirmed, like what is real, what is what's really going on out there, and then also let's dive into a little bit of speculation, because that's fun. We're gonna guess and hear what the reports are and what the rumors are. So to start us off, this movie news is legit. This is confirmed. So for Disney Plus series, Loki, the show that's coming out, has cast Owen Wilson to be a major role in the series, and it basically, I got a little excerpt here. As was previously revealed by Marvel's chief officer Kevin Feige, appearing in the Disney Plus series also makes cast members eligible to appear in future films and other shows. So you'll start to see actors that are in Avengers and in all these other movies appear into the Disney Plus shows, and vice versa. So you'll see people in the Disney Plus shows that might end up in Marvel movies. It's a little bit different, that's kind of for those of us that have been tracking since Defenders, since Daredevil on Netflix and these shows on Netflix. The idea, even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC, the idea. Whoa, hey, see Owen, hey, you got Owen Wilson, yeah. The idea of these shows was that it's supposed to be a part of that bigger universe, but they never really crossed over. Like, they referenced each other, but you never really saw one hop from one show to the other. And so maybe we can get more Luke Cage with Disney Plus. And there's rumors behind that as far as what's going to happen. I might touch on that later. Yeah. So the idea is that with the show Loki, it's going to have an impact onto what happens in the movies, even though it's a Disney Plus series. It will tie into the movies, and you might see characters kind of bounce around. So the Loki series will follow this versions of Tom Hiddleston's character, who escaped New York City. So if you saw Endgame, you see Loki escape when they go back in time. Spoilers alert. So this series is going to follow what he's up to and what's going on there. There'll be a lot of misdirection of what things going on. There's rumored about like a time bureau almost. If you know, Legends of Tomorrow is another DC show that covers kind of time and how they act as time police. So there's going to be a version of that in the Marvel universe that goes it's dated way back. But we'll see some of that appear in that series. And a great tie-in to that is that the movie Doctor Strange, the next Doctor Strange 2, is going to be in theaters not too long from now. And it's called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And it's going to be a wild ride. I predict it's going to be one of the wildest MCU movies we've seen to date. It's going to be crazy. They're obviously just in the title alone, there's going to be a multiverse. There's going to be lots of things happening. Now, the news coming out of that is that Rachel McAdams, who Radar, you saw Doctor Strange, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, I've watched a fair amount.
Okay, all right. Remember in the movie, his love interest was Rachel McAdams, and she was the Dr. Christine Palmer. Well, it turns out, and we got some love for Doctor Strange. Awesome. It turns out that she has dropped out of the film. So his love interest, Rachel McAdams, Dr. Christine Palmer, will not be in the sequel. And that's following the news that the original director, who is Scott Dickerson, has also dropped out. Now, it's kind of a bummer because, he was attached to the movie. He was attached to, making a follow-up to Doctor Strange. And he did an incredible job with the first one. So it was exciting to see him, do a follow-up, a proper follow-up. Usually the first ones, the origin stories, they're a little heavy-handed. They're a little building up a narrative and creating a universe, as it were, in what, rules we follow. But usually it's the sequel that you really get to see them push the boundaries of a movie. So it was exciting to see what he would do in the follow-up. Positive off of Scott Dickerson not being with the project anymore, they nabbed Sam Raimi. And the director, Sam Raimi, I don't know if you know who that is. He was the director who did that original Spider-Man trilogy. So the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy, he was the director for those. And really brought a lot of I just think attention and to the, because I remember when comic book movies were first put into theaters, they were not good. I mean, you get a long list of comic book movies that did not do good, and it was really in that era, that 2000 era of the X-Men movies and the Spider-Man movies that really changed the game. No, Mike Larson, Sam Raimi didn't ruin Spider-Man. I honestly think that had a lot more to do with the studio pushing him to do things he didn't want to do. I think he made superhero movies and comic book movies really what they are today. The DNA of the MCU really pulls a lot from those early Spider-Man movies, because the humor aspect of it. Prior to that, you had Batman and Superman and the X-Men movies, which were good, but they're a little lacking in humor. Spider-Man really brought that to the forefront, and I think the MCU really went off and ran with that and took it to that next level. So I'm excited personally to see what Sam Raimi could do with a sequel to Doctor Strange. I'm really excited, and knowing that he's taking a break. He's not burned out, because his last movie was Oz the Great and Powerful, which was for Disney, which owns Marvel. And that was back in 2013. So I think he's ready to do another movie, and I think that there was an interview he did where he talked. It was about 5 years ago, where he talked about. They asked, "Oh, would you ever, direct a Marvel movie?" And he goes like, "Yeah, I don't think they'd want me to do it, but he's like, I'd love to do it. They've got some really cool stuff happening there. So, lesson kids, that if you put it out in the universe and you do a good job, you'll get what you want. I mean, look, I wanted a radio show, so here we are." You still with me, bud?
I'm still here. I'm just listening. I'm letting you roll, man. You got this. Like
I
I said,
know.
I'm following your lead, and you're leading just fine.
Oh, I appreciate
So
that. Yeah, I'm a little bit. I can be a little long-winded at times, so by all means, cut me off whenever you feel like it, because I can, I can, as my friends will point out, I'm sure in the chats that I can be quite the gabber and keep going. So oh, and Mark. Hey, Mark. Oh my God, I got it. Mark Baker. Shout out to Mark Baker's in the audience. That Mark Baker is the legendary creator of Private Murphy. So if you know Private Murphy in the Army, it was the Army Times and the Army cartoon about Private Murphy, and I was a huge fan. You know, that was my era. I remember sitting there reading Private Murphy, and now he's a good friend. I'm so happy he joined us. And he actually, if you see the splash page for Pop Culture Warrior with the guy ripping the shirt open with the CQ, Mark, that was all Mark. Mark did that beautiful artwork for me. So thank you so much, Mark. And yes, they are keeping Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange to answer your question. I read that the new Doctor Strange are going to be a horror style movie. Yeah, Christopher. Yeah, so it's not going to be a horror movie. There was a bit of a misquote. So it's not going to be a horror movie. There's going to be horror-esque elements to it. There might be some scenes. They kind of when Kevin Feige was kind of finally nailed down about it, he said it's almost like Gremlins. You know what I mean? Gremlins was not a horror movie, but there were definitely moments that shook you and gave you a jump and a scare. So it'll be in that kind of vein where it'll be very Marvel. There'll be lots of comedy, but there will be elements of horror. If you saw the most recent Spider-Man, you wouldn't call that a horror movie at all, but there were certain elements of where when he was tripping out in the hallucinations, where it was very scary, jumping out you, like trying to elicit a reaction. And so I think that's kind of what they meant when they said it was going to be a little bit horror-esque. It was going to have those elements in there. So I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a phenomenal movie. And I know from the reading that the Disney series of Wanda and Vision, which we're going to touch on in a second, WandaVision and Loki will both have ties that go straight into that Doctor Strange movie. So I think that to me, that's incredible. I mean, and it's really laid out. If you see that in the
49ers face the Chiefs.
Excuse me, that was my watch. In the synopsis, if you read about like WandaVision, that's going to be the woman who played Scarlet Witch and Vision in the Avengers, and while he won't be, but she will actually co-star in Doctor Strange 2. So she's going to go straight from shooting, the WandaVision show, and then go straight into, filming with Doctor Strange in the theaters. So like that's a great example of how it's all going to tie together. And I know Loki, with his kind of time hopping, dimension hopping series, is also going to tie into that Doctor Strange multiverse of madness movie. So it's very exciting. It's very exciting to know that if you're really dialed in, it's going to be, it's going to be fun. And I see a question. Any news on the Carnage movie? Ooh, yeah, there's some things. We'll get to that. That's gonna be in the rumor section. How we doing? Everybody good? We're all good. we're doing good on time. I feel like I've already rambled through my 2 hours, and we're just.
Dude, you got like 20 minutes.
we're just getting started. So some more confirmed stuff is. And I'll brief through these kind of. Stop me if you want to talk about any of this. Please stop me. Also, guys, remember you can call into the show if anybody wants to call in and weigh in an opinion on anything we're talking about. By all means, I want this show to be super interactive. All your questions, all your comments, all your concerns are all warranted, and I want to hear them all. So yes, we are getting to that stuff. What do you think of the Morbius movie? Oh man, the Morbius movie. You know what? Hold that thought, Ari. I want to come back to that because I do have an opinion on the Morbius movie, and I'm gonna get into that. So a couple of things I can just shoot out there is that so Keanu Reeves has started production on Matrix 4. I never thought I'd see this day, but the Wachowskis are coming back and they're doing a follow-up to Matrix 3. What was it? Revelations. This is, the last movie was in theaters 2003. Was I Like that's a long time to wait for a follow up. But then again, they're still doing Rambo movies and Rocky movies and things like that. So who am I to say? So they are starting production on that. That movie is estimated to release in theaters March 21 of 2021. So about a year and a month from now, we should be. I'll give you the report on Matrix 4. Apparently, another one is Snake Eyes. So for all those classic GI Joe fans, where you guys at, man? GI Joe fans, they're we've seen the live action GI Joe's done. And now, I remember when those two movies came out, Snake Eyes was a huge hit with the audiences, as he always is. Snake Eyes is always the guy that people want to see more of. So now they're doing a proper Snake Eyes only movie. And, the guy that's playing him is, oh my God, Henry Golding. And he actually just on his Twitter, man, and I wish I'd grabbed a screen grab of it. I don't have it. But Henry Golding shared an image. You don't really see anything. It's like his back as he's walking away. You don't really see much, but it's happening. They're really filming it. It's being directed by Robert Schwentke and written by Evan. And good Lord, I cannot pronounce that name. Spilopoulos. Yeah, that's a thing. You're gonna see in that movie. You're gonna see Snake Eyes. You're gonna see Storm Shadow, the Baroness, Scarlet, Peter Mensa, Takiro Hira. So yes, there's quite a lot of people that are gonna be in that movie. The more you know, that's right. And knowing's half the battle, right? So Snake Eyes will hit theaters October 23rd, and as soon as they release any type of trailer, whatever, I'm gonna have it right here. Keep your eyes locked. If you guys want to follow my comedy page, it's Comedy CQ. I'm sure somebody could throw it up in the chats. But anytime I see trailers and stuff like that, I'm gonna drop it right in there, and then we'll dish about it as it comes out. So it's exciting. Too bad Cable was so badly casted and portrayed. Would have been good to see them. Cable. I didn't think, if you're talking about the Josh Brolin Cable in Deadpool 2, I didn't think he did that bad of a job. I thought, story was. I think give him his own movie with a really good script. I think it would have been really good. Hey, thanks, Mark. He posted up CQ Comedy. Appreciate you, bud. All right, so we've talked about confirmed stuff. Let's dish on some rumors, okay? And this kind of goes into that earlier comment about Morbius. So what the fuck is going on with Spider-Man and this Sony universe? I'm struggling. I'm struggling to get my head wrapped around this. So for those in the know, the Marvel MCU universe got to use Spider-Man, as we saw in Civil War, as we saw in Avengers, as we saw in the Spider-Man movies. Now, the rights to the characters are he's owned by Sony. So Marvel has the rights to all their characters except Spider-Man, pretty much. He's the only big character they don't have anymore. And so they came up with a deal which, as far as I can tell, is never been happened in like the history of cinema, where one company allows another company to make a movie with their licensed character. It's crazy. But that's how we got Spider-Man in the Marvel universe. The deal was that Sony still retained all the rights of their characters, can create whatever universe they want with it, and that Marvel would help Sony release Spider-Man movies. So Far From Home and Homecoming were both really Sony movies. They weren't MCU Marvel movies, they were Sony movies, but Sony got to play in the Marvel universe because of the deal that they had. So now you have all these spin-off movies, which are, the Venom movie that came out, the Morbius movie, which is coming soon. These are all spin-offs of Spider-Man. Now, they're not supposed to really be part of the MCU, which doesn't make a lot of sense, because if Spider-Man is of the MCU, is of the Marvel universe, how can, all these other guys not exist in that universe? It's a bit of a head scratcher, and I mean, I don't know how you rectify it. It needs to let its claws off the Spider-Man. Yes, Christopher, I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. Let Sony give up Spider-Man. Let him go home and be a part of the Marvel universe proper. But apparently, as part of the deal, Marvel gets to use him for one more like big blockbuster, like an Avengers level movie, and they'll help Sony produce one more, like basically Spider-Man 3, and that's the end of the deal. After that, Sony's basically in the background establishing this universe where they're doing the Venom, they're doing the Morbius, and here comes the rumor is that Kraven the Hunter is now going to be another standalone film where in the background they're quietly like interviewing and auditioning people to play a quote unquote manacle big game hunter, which I mean that's Kraven the Hunter. I mean that's what he is. That's what he does. They're establishing this universe, and it seems to me that if we've had Vulture in Spider-Man, we had Scorpion kind of appear in Spider-Man, we've had the Venom movie, we have this Morbius movie coming. If Kraven the Hunter is coming, like you're one away from a Sinister Six. So it seems to me that Sony's gonna ride the MCU kind of train. As long as they can build up this franchise, and then basically as soon as that deal's off, hit us with this big like Sinister Six movie where they bring in all these characters. The way we know that Morbius is tied to the MCU is because in the trailer you see Adrian Toomes, you see Michael Keaton's Vulture character in the trailer. So if that is an actual part of the movie, I mean they could be doing a big troll, but if that was a part of the movie, then that shows that there's a connection there. The reason I say I can't understand what they're doing is because they've also thrown in these weird connections to other franchises. That doesn't make sense. So in the Morbius movie, you had Adrian Toomes that was part of the MCU, but there's one scene where he's walking by, and I gotta get better at getting screen grabs of this, but he's walking by a poster and you see Spider-Man that says murderer, which could allude to the MCU where he's outed as killing Mysterio. But it wasn't Spider-Man that we know. It was actually a grab from the Spider-Man video game. It was actually so I don't know if they're hinting at, I don't know. It's weird because the outfit he was wearing was actually the Tobey Maguire outfit, but people wrongly assumed like, oh my God, that was Tobey Maguire's picture. It actually wasn't. It was in the game of the Spider-Man game, you can change your outfits, and one of the outfits was a classic Sam Raimi Spider-Man outfit. And so it's actually a screen grab of the video game as a poster, and so it you don't really know what is Sony hinting at, that Sam Raimi's Spider-Man is part of this, or that the video game Spider-Man is part of this. I don't know. And then to make it even more complicated, there was a screenshot of they're also filming Venom 2 right now. They've already started production on Venom 2, for those of you guys that are talking about Venom. And there was a leaked photo of like a bus that had went by, and on it had the Daily Bugle's logo. Now, why is that a big deal? Is because in the comic books, Daily Bugle, obviously where Spider-Man worked, and J. Jonah Jameson was the head editor. Well, in the MCU universe, we've already seen J. Jonah Jameson come in, and it's not the Daily Bugle newspaper. It's more of an InfoWars, internet serial now, and the logo is very different from what like the comic books had, and very different from like what Sam Raimi's Spider-Man had. Well, the logo for the Daily Bugle on that bus ad looks almost identical to what the Sam Raimi universe's Daily Bugle, the newspaper, looked like. So again, what the hell, Spider-Man? Like, what is Sony doing with their universe? Are they alluding that it's not part of the MCU? It is part of the MCU? Who knows? And yes, and Carnage. Carnage is definitely going to be a big... So they haven't officially said that Carnage is the big bad in the movie. The director is quoted as saying, Venom will go up against the big bad villain that equals him in strength and this and this and that. Basically painting the picture that's going to be Carnage without saying, hey, the bad guy's going to be Carnage. It was back when the Venom movie first came out, they teased right at the end, Cletus Cassidy was Carnage, and that was Woody Harrelson was going to bringing him to life. And, so I think it's a foregone conclusion. And they even said that he had signed on to do multiple pictures. So why are they playing coy and like, well, it might be Carnage, it might not be? I don't know. But it's very obviously going to be Carnage, because who else, right? I mean, who else? Any thoughts, Radar? I didn't put you to sleep yet, have I? Yep, I did. See, I knew I
What?
did.
No. Here. I'm on mute, so I'm just like talking and.
I know, right? Isn't this really entertaining? Like, for a non-pop culture fan, this must be so thrilling to listen to.
Well, it's not that. There's a weird echo.
Yeah,
Sorry about.
bit echoey. It's
But
all right.
I'm not uninterested. It's just very. I'm listening, and it's like I'm captivated, and I'm just like. And like everyone else in the chat's like, what about Venom and what about Carnage and all this shit? I'm like, yeah, what the fuck about them? I don't know anything about this.
What about those
great.
guys? What about those guys? Okay, man. Hey, I appreciate you being here and being a part of this. I know he says it's not your cup of tea, but that's okay, man. That's okay.
No,
man.
I'm learning a lot, dude. I was awesome.
Yeah,
Great.
we're gonna give you a master class. You're gonna be talking to the kids and be like, yeah, I heard about this in Venom and this about Carnage and this and this. All right, cool. Let's keep it rolling, man. I'm excited. I'm just getting heated up. So some more rumored news. I thought it was a comic tease. Yes, Mark. Yes, you thought you were bad. Yeah, I'm way worse. So in one last Marvel MCU news. So we know that Thor is going to get one last movie in the MCU. There's rumor there might be like one last team up movie, but he's going to get one last solo movie just for him. So it's pretty cool because no other character, Captain America, Iron Man, or anybody has had a part 4. I mean, even the Spider-Man movies, X-Men movies, nobody's really had a part 4 solo movie. And so he's going to get one. It's called Thor Love and Thunder. And we already confirmed that Thor's back. Takiti, well, I can't pronounce his name. The director, Waikiki Takiti. I got to get better at that. He's coming back to direct. Thor will be there. There's a bunch of characters going to be there. The really exciting news with that is that we know Natalie Portman is coming back as Jane Foster. And she was kind of on record as saying, like, I'm done, I'm out. That's why she wasn't in the third one. And so, it's really exciting that she's going to come back and actually, spoiler alert, it's set to be in the story that very much like in the comic books, at one point, Jane Foster became worthy when Thor was not worthy, and she actually carried Mjolnir, which you see right over my shoulder there, and she becomes Thor. She gets the power of Thor, and so we're gonna see a screen version of that, which I think is absolutely awesome. Woman power. And so the rumored news is that they're looking to cast the kind of the big bad alien, villain of the role. And right now, the person in the lead for that is Christian Bale. So everybody knows Christian Bale as, Chris Nolan's Batman. So to see him kind of cross over into the Marvel universe and to be a bad guy. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen a really good Christian Bale bad guy. I'm thinking like back to, what was it? American Psycho. Oh man, he was a crazy guy. And then The Machinist, which was another really great one. So they're circling right now on Bale. They haven't announced kind of who the character is that they're trying to cast for. Just that he's a villain, that he's alien, that he's otherworldly. So it'll be real interesting to see if he gets locked in and then what character he's playing. So Thor Love and Thunder will storm into theaters November 5th of next year, 2021. So I'm very excited.
Okay, so now I'm gonna pull this dumb question.
Yes, go for it.
Okay, so Natalie Portman character.
Mm-hmm.
When she picks up the hammer and becomes Thor.
That's right.
Quote unquote. Then are they going to do another series based on her as Thor? Or is she going to fill in these other universe sections, or have they really delved into that at all?
That's a great question. As far as, and again, a lot of this stuff is very left up to mystery, especially the MCU is notorious for keeping their cards down, keeping everything under wraps until it's released. As far as I can tell, this is it. So this is it for Natalie Portman. This is it for Chris Hemsworth. This will be the final chapter in the Thor mythology for the MCU. There's always possibility that, not that they reboot the character, but like even in the comic books, when when the mainstays like Captain America and Iron Man kind of like either retired or died, they had new people kind of step in and fill those roles. Either like a next generation, there was like a Young Avengers, different things like that. So there's always the possibility we can see the Thor story continue. But as far as like the kind of main core Thor audience that we are, Thor characters that we have now, all that's done after the final Thor movie. So there was a big,
And then,
yeah, go ahead.
did you see in the chat someone asked, why can't Gary Busey be the villain? That was
in any
awesome.
movie? Oh man, that's scary, man. If you remember when Nick Nolte was the villain in that Hulk movie, that was intense. So I can't imagine. I put Gary Busey and Nick Nolte kind of at that madness, that same kind of craziness level. So yeah, that'd be an intense movie. Yeah, I don't I don't know what character he could play, but he could definitely maybe like a bit part, like a side character, crazy homeless guy just screaming at people from the sidewalk. I don't know, but that'd be dope. Yes, and yeah, you're right, Christopher. Yeah, right on. He who holds the hammer possesses the power of Thor. That's why Natalie Portman, who is a human, is able to get the powers of Thor, because the enchantment on the hammer says whoever is worthy to hold it will have the powers of Thor. So there was a big thing about like they're like, oh well, Thor's power comes from the hammer, and like no, Thor's power comes from Thor. There is an enchantment on the hammer that says whoever holds the hammer has his power. So yeah, it's kind of like a weird retcon in his power. But yes, have Natalie Portman go evil. That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting to see her go all Black Swan and like become an evil person in the movies. I don't think they'll go that route, but that would definitely be pretty cool. So a couple, two more quick rumor mill stories that I'll throw at you. And that is for the Captain Marvel. Oh shit, yeah. One more Marvel movie. Captain Marvel 2, which is early development, is being written and put together. There's an early rumor that the villain of this movie, and this is exciting for me, the villain of this movie is gonna be the X-Men character Rogue. For people that know the comic book origins, Rogue started out in the comics as a villain, and so I think they're going that origin story, and basically her powers is she can absorb other people's powers. So like the Rogue people know in comics and in cartoons and other movies, like she could fly and she had these all these abilities. A lot of that she got because the first person she ever absorbed was Captain Marvel. So that her ability to fly and all that came from her absorbing Captain Marvel's powers so many years ago, and being that it was the first person she ever absorbed, and so that kind of power stayed with her, and her super strength and her flying ability. So it'd be exciting to see. They're going to be bringing X-Men into the MCU. They bought Fox, and they can say whatever they want, but they bought Fox so that they could have their characters back. Fox had the licenses for X-Men, a Fantastic Four, a lot of the villains like Galactus and Doctor Doom and Silver Surfer and all these characters that they couldn't touch. Namor. There's a bunch of characters they couldn't touch because Fox was holding the rights to them. So they just straight up bought Fox. And so it's there's a lot of good stuff to come out of that, but definitely the fact that now they'll be able to start making X-Men in the MCU, I think is awesome. And so to see Rogue come out in that movie, maybe that's the plan, to start showing different X-Men characters in different movies, and then eventually like a Marvel-esque team up where they all become the X-Men in one solo movie. I think that would be super cool. I'd be very down to watch that. So seeing like Rogue show up in Captain Marvel 2, and Wolverine show up in I don't know something, and others like that. I think that'd be super cool, a way to do it. But Rogue is in the comics, a kid in the X-Men movies. Are they gonna do that? Okay, so Mark is saying that she was an adult in the comics. Yeah, she was an adult in the comics. That is true. And I think even in her earliest days, she might have been like a little bit past, like young adult, like a little bit past teenager. But and she was a kid in the movies. I guess they're gonna meet somewhere in the middle. I don't know yet. It's still super early, but I know I'm excited to find out. All right, and my last bit of rumored news for the movies, and this is something that I never thought I'd see this, and this just kind of came out, is that do you remember Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Do you remember that movie?
I love. It's like the last one I saw in a theater. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah,
No.
yes, I love that movie. And I love
Honey,
Rick
I
Moranis.
Shrunk the Kids, and their sequels were, I mean, just classic movies. I love them. I love all these, science-based movies and like crazy stuff like that. It's so much fun. And so Rick Moranis obviously brought to life that character. He was also famous for being in Ghostbusters and a bunch of other movies. He kind of disappeared. And for people that know, he disappeared because his wife got sick and she passed away. And he had kids at home, and he decided, instead of being a Hollywood celebrity, he wanted to be home with his kids. And so he retired from acting and decided he would stay home and be a dad, which is awesome. Good for him. He deserved it. But now it's been 30 years since he's been in movies, and all his kids are grown up, and they've decided to reboot basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And now what the execs are calling it is not necessarily a reboot. Yes, Spaceballs, great call out. Spaceballs is a great movie. Now they're not calling it quite a reboot. They're actually calling it a legacy sequel. So it's a sequel / soft reboot. It's a legacy sequel. And so the idea is that they're going to bring back Rick Moranis as the character of Wayne, Sislinski, and apparently, in the story, he locked himself away, and all these experiments went crazy, and now 30 years later, like, he's trying to reconnect with his kids, and the rumor is they're going to have Josh Gad. If you know the actor Josh Gad, he's the one that he was Olaf in the was it the Frozen series. He was also not Gaston, but Gaston's friend in Beauty and the Beast. I forget the little fat dude. But yeah, so Josh Gad, he's a very funny guy. Does a lot of funny movies, and he's being cast as the apparently he's being cast as the son of Rick Moranis' character in the movie. So I super hope that this happens. And the best news is that, this is something that they could easily say, we're going to make this for Disney Plus, and we're going to put it on Disney Plus. But this is they're actually making this a movie. They want to release this in theaters. So I think that's super cool, and it'd be exciting to, see how that rolls out. So, all right, with that, hey, we're done with movie news. So I know, right? This is fun. It's we're getting pretty close to the top of the hour. Let's here I got something. We'll do a little fun game. So you don't know a lot of pop culture, but obviously a lot of actors, movies, you've seen commercials, these people are out there making things. Here we are in 2020, right? The decade just came to a close, or the new decade just came to an open, however you look at it. Let's talk about, who do you think is the highest paid actor for each of the last couple years in that 2009 to 2019 decade. I'll give you a hint. It's not a lot of people who would think about or know, actually, until the last couple of years. But for instance, so in 2009, the highest paid actor, the guy who grossed the most money in 2009, was actually Harrison Ford at $65 million for that year. And now I don't have a list on handy of like what pictures they released at the time. Wow, we got guesses coming in. The Rock and Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, no, you guys are on cue. So I'll give you the first couple. So 2009 was Harrison Ford at $65 million. 2010 was Johnny Depp at $75 million. 2011 was Leonardo DiCaprio. B. Arthur. I like that. That's a good answer. Leonardo DiCaprio at $77 million. 2012 was Tom Cruise at $75 million. And now, in an incredible run, 2013, 2014, and 2015, the same guy was the number one moneymaker in Hollywood. In 2013, 75 million, 2014, 75 million, and 2015, 80 million. And everybody's pretty much guessing it in the chats. It's Robert Downey Jr. So between 2013 to 2015, this guy raked in, my God, $230 something million, and was the highest paid guy in all the years 13, 14, and 15. In 2016, I saw one guest hit it right on the head. 2016, it actually became Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson at 64.5 million. I mean, that was a big year for him in 2016. Coming out of left field, nobody guessed this one. 2017, it was actually Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg at $68 million. Now here, so all right, so if you were paying attention, let's see, we said 65 million, 75, 77, 75, 75, 75, 80, 64.5, 68. That goes up to 2017. Now in 2018, there was a big jump. The number one guy pulled in $239 million. So that's like 5 of those years combined before that. Now, who it was is surprising to me, at least, because he didn't release a movie that year. And that's George Clooney. George Clooney in 2018 pulled in $239 million without releasing a single movie. Now, I know the question that came to my mind was, how the hell did he make $240 million approximately without releasing a movie? And so I did a little digging, and it turns out that even though he didn't make a single movie that year, he did sell his tequila company. He had a tequila company called Casamigos Tequila, and he sold it for a reportedly $1 billion. That's a billion with a B. $1 billion. So his portion of that came out to that $239 million pre-tax from selling his Casamigos. And yeah, so that's wild to me. Now, if you're curious who would have been, first place because they were actually working and making money, who wasn't, George Clooney selling $1 billion tequila company, it would have actually been Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, again at $124 million. That's the year he had like 3 big hits in a row. It was like Jumanji, was it Central Intelligence, I think, and it was another one. But he had those 3 big hits in a row, and he netted himself about $124 million that year. That's 2018. And then again in 2019, you got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson coming in, $89.4 million. So it says, we see the comments. This just goes to show you that if you have the talent to pretend to be other people in front of cameras, you can get mega rich too. Yes, that is a great comment. Absolutely, I believe that wholeheartedly. Unfortunately, we can't all be mega rich movie stars. That's unfortunate. That makes me sad. So, and in that queue, we got a couple more minutes before the break. So actually, we'll play another little guessing game. How about this? I'm gonna pull up. So for those of you that don't know, you can go to conventions and see like a lot of celebrities that are especially pop culture, and like if you're a Star Trek fan, you're a Marvel fan, a lot of these guys go to conventions, and you can actually pay at the convention to meet them. You can pay to get pictures with them. You can get pay to get autographs for them. So I would like to tell you how much does your favorite celebrity charge for an autograph? So, for instance, if you were to go to the Fan Expo in Canada, Star Wars legendary actor Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker, for an autograph and a photo is charging $195. $195. So that's if you want an autograph and photo. Now, if you wanted to get an autograph of Norman Reedus, right? He's legendary Boondock Saints actor, Walking Dead actor, the Hideo Kojima game that just came out, Death Stranding, was the actor behind that. If you want an autograph from Norman Reedus, he charges a cool $100, and is rumored to make $200,000 per per convention appearance. So every time he goes to a convention, he's making about $200,000. Now, I have a picture with Norman Reedus at one of these conventions way before he was Walking Dead famous. He was still just kind of riding like the Blade, was it Blade 2 he was in, and Boondock Saints. You could literally just walk up to him, take a picture, and talk to him. There wasn't a line to see him. He was, no insult, but he was, B-level, C-level celebrity at the time. And I don't even think he was charging anything for pictures or autographs. So, goes to show you work hard. You can make that money. You can make that money. So $200,000 per convention appearance. Here's a ridiculous one. So apparently in at the New York Comic Con, Sylvester Stallone made an appearance, and he charged $395 for an autograph, and separately, if you wanted a photo, that was $445. Radar, would you pay $445 for a photo with Sylvester Stallone?
No, I might pay $20 to go away. Get that Botox and shit away from me.
All right. Fair enough.
No, he's what, like 80? He's old as fuck. I mean,
close to that. So maybe he's trying to make as much money as he can.
Out of bed.
He's not making a lot of movies anymore, so he's got to make his cheddar somehow, right? You got to make that bread somehow.
He just put out like 3 Rocky movies and like a Rambo or 2 the last couple of years. He's all right.
He's doing all right. He's doing okay.
He ain't no Robert Downey Jr. rich, but he's all right.
he's making those ends meet, right?
Yeah.
Oh, here you go.
He's like Charlie Murphy rich.
Charlie Murphy. So you said you're kind of hip with the Doctor Who's, right? You've got a little bit of knowledge with that, right?
A little bit, yeah. It's been a minute.
Okay. So you probably remember Matt Smith was one of the doctors. Could you guess approximately how much is it going to cost you for an autograph with Matt Smith from Matt Smith?
Well, he's British, so it's got to be in pounds.
Was it U.S. American? U.S. American.
I say about $100.
About 100. You are spot on, sir. He charges $100 for an autograph, and according to the Hollywood Reporter, he brought in $250,000 a weekend while he was the Doctor. While he played the Doctor, he was making $250K a weekend. So yeah, that's impressive. On the other hand, you got guys like Andrew Lincoln. So if you know The Walking Dead, he played Rick Grimes. He's the lead principal actor in Walking Dead, and only charges $70 for a photo, and reportedly donates all the proceeds he makes from a convention appearance to charity. That's incredible. Good. That's stars doing it right. So a couple more. Chris Hemsworth, Thor. We were talking about Thor. He will charge you $150 for a photo, and someone put in $200 for everything else. I don't know what that entails. I don't know what gets you $200 gets you with Chris Hemsworth. That'll take you a long way. There's let's see, John Cusack, a legendary actor, apparently had an appearance at the Rose City Comic Con in Portland, Oregon, and was only charging $70 for a photo. I guess it goes to show you you haven't done anything lately. Then it interests me that some of these actors and actresses that are real hot and will charge a super amount, or are legends and will actually charge lower amounts. You have Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart has been in every pop culture thing like ever. The X-Men, Star Trek. I mean, the list goes on. He charges $75 for an autograph. That's pretty modest fare amount, if you ask me.
And he donates a lot. Oh,
he does. He absolutely does. A couple more. So you got like Evangeline Lilly, who was the actress from Lost. She was the sidekick in Ant-Man. I should say the sidekick. She was the heroine of Ant-Man. Only $70 for an autograph. $70. That's a reasonable amount. I mean, for people that came out and already, you've already spent however many hundreds of dollars to get into one of these big conventions. That's a reasonable amount. Let's see who else. And then you got some people that, again, and then Robert Englund. You know who Robert Englund is?
No.
He's the actor who brought Freddy Krueger to life. He's the Freddy Krueger. He will charge you $365 for a photo.
What?
Almost $400 to just get a photo with Robert Englund. And I mean, like, as much as he's a legend, and I respect his work, and he did an amazing and brought iconic character. I mean, my God, man, come on, almost $400 for a picture. That's wild.
For a dude who lives underneath a latex mask.
Exactly, yeah. You can't even really recognize him. Well, I mean, he does kind of look like Freddy now. He's with all the skin kind of hanging. But at the time he played, you wouldn't recognize him. The last two, and these are recent people that have recent stardom. So Stephen Amell, who is on TV. He's the Arrow. He's the Green Arrow on TV. Charges about $80. $80 for a photo. Very very reasonable. And there's a source that says in a typical convention, he estimately walks away with about $250,000 every weekend that he's at a convention. So I mean, you're making a decent killing. And then my favorite here is Karen Gillan, who in the Avengers, she played Nebula. She was also in Jumanji. She was the heroiness in Jumanji. She's been in part of Doctor Who. So a legend. I mean, a legend in the pop culture world. And she a picture with her, $65. $65, and you got your picture with Nebula or one of the Doctor Who people. I mean, that's all phenomenal. So that's just a fun little a look at, these are people that you if you ever have the chance and you wanna get a picture with them or an autograph from them, there you go. That's what you got to do. You gotta just fork over the cash and go to one of these conventions, and that's what you can do. So, all right, guys, we've reached the top of the hour. We're gonna take a tiny little 10-minute break and let me rest my voice since I've been doing all the talking. Thank you, Ritter. And we'll come back. I've got some more some TV news. I've got some gaming news and some just really fun pop culture news. And then don't forget, my light in the background changed. That's pretty crazy. Don't forget that we also going to play a stand-up comedy bit at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for being a part of this, and we will be right back. See you soon.
Keep on drinking till I come
listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Call me a vet like a soldier, Green Beret, 21 gun salute, don't wanna see the day. In the constant war zone, in the home of the brave, where they hate the police until they saving the day. I got kids like you, a mortgage like you, so blue lives matter, and so does yours too. All this separation and divide, open your eyes. If you cut us all open, we the same inside. The only difference is, I run to the gunfight. Your peace when it's chaos, when the people don't act right. But I'm under scrutiny for trying to protect me. You pull a pistol and I'm shooting for trying to contest me. I got a quick second to make a deadly decision. The media portray me like a kid for a living, like I'm cold with no heart, a brain with no thoughts, a body with no feeling, a life with no cause.
Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. I'm damned if I do, and damned if I don't. It's like every single time I say what's on my mind, they go for my throat, they spew evil words. If you are absurd, always grinding, grinning, and killing my soul with these verbs. Hold me down, like I can't gasp for air. I'm closed inside of a box, like I'm inside Fort Knox. Every time that I'm there, I don't know why they think that I'm different from you. All that's true is I'm a like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
We share
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Guys, we are back. We are back. Is everybody still there? Like, is everybody left me? You guys ready for another hour of this? Based on what my friends tell me, this has got to be grueling punishment for all of you out there. But thank you guys for sticking with it. You know, if you're still here, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. I've got a cool, really thing to start us off in the second hour. Radar, did you enjoy your break? You good?
I did. I got some snacks. Good.
When you talk pop culture stuff, you need snacks. You definitely need snacks. So speaking of snacks, and this is a very exciting segment here. I have a very good friend of the show, Mike Larson. I know you're out there, so this one's for you. He sent me this, and here you go. Let's see if I can get that just right. That's right, people. That is edible anus pure milk chocolate. That is chocolate in the shape of an anus. Now they don't handcraft these. Well, in a sense they do, but these are actually molded on someone's butthole. Yeah. Now, Radar, you had a great comment. What was that comment?
But they're not your buddies. They're someone else's.
Right, exactly. Yes. So the ask,
you don't even know whose asshole you're eating.
Do I know whose asshole I'm eating? The answer is no. My friend is not is too cheap. He's too cheap to get a mold made of his own butthole. So he just went with the generic random person's butthole, who I have no idea who it is. So I don't know if this is capturing just well enough, but yeah. Those are edible chocolate buttholes. So in honor of our friends at the station and our friend Mike Larson here, who's gonna be loving this, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm a bit of a diet, but I'm gonna go ahead and treat myself to an edible anus. So whoever's anus this is, thank you very much. Not bad, actually. That's pretty good anus. That's gotta be.
One comma was like, I wonder who they used for the mold, and someone put they used Radar. Like,
I knew it.
That mash money drying up. They don't pay me for no fucking autographs and shit and pictures. So I gotta somehow.
You just give out chocolate anuses instead of autographs. All right. Well,
you weren't here previously, so you didn't hear the closet stories. So
interesting.
I'm getting into them someday.
Yeah, we've got to touch on that, or not touch on it. I don't know, depending on how the story goes. But yeah, as far as assholes go, that's probably the tastiest one I've ever eaten. So yeah, thank you for that, Mike Larson. I appreciate you sending that our way. All right, moving on from that, we have a lot of more stuff to cover, and I realize I kind of went a little bit long on the movie news. So for you guys now, let's do some TV news. Yay! Da-da-da-da-da. I gotta get segment music. That's what we need for this show. You know, like TV news, cha 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 cha. Something, I don't know. We're working on that. Anybody out there that's good at like making jingles or something, please shoot them my way. My email is cq@wtfnationradio.com. So feel free to send me. And if you guys want to send me articles or stories or anything you guys want me to talk about or discuss on or dish on, whatever, send it to my comedy page. Send it to I'm at CQ_WTFNR on Twitter. and or CQ at WTFNationRadio.com. So yeah, definitely send stuff my way so that I can look at it. We can talk about it. You can post about it, share it, whatever. Hit me up. I'm super excited to talk about all this stuff. I have a whole new audience and family to share my geekiness and my nerdiness and my pop cultureness. So all right, without further ado, so TV. Super cool. I don't know if you're aware of Radar, but remember Child's Play, right? Chucky, the classic
Yes.
80s horror movie. Recently they did a reboot of Chucky. I don't know if you that caught wind of that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Didn't do so well in the theaters, which sucks. I'm a huge Aubrey Plaza fan, and she was in the movie, and I know Mark Hamill did the voice for Chucky. Didn't do so well, and they kind of killed it off with what it was. But it turns out Sci-Fi, the TV network, is doing a Chucky TV series. And this Chucky TV series is reportedly picking up right where the original movies left off. So, everybody remembers Child's Play 1 and Child's Play 2. It got pretty crazy. I think they made like 7 of them, and the last one went like straight to Netflix. And I think that was 2017. It was Cult of Chucky. But it was crazy because, like, in that movie, him and the girlfriend Tiffany, they were like putting their souls in other bodies. Like, it was crazy. It was wild. Like they just multiplied their souls and like infested bodies and other dolls, and it was wild. And the original, like, Andy from the original movie was like a grown man and like kind of went crazy, and they locked him in a mental institution. It was wild. But apparently this TV series is going to kind of follow that train, and now instead of being a 90-minute movie, they want to do this series. It's like 8 to 10 episodes, and really dive into who the characters are and what's their motivation and what's going on, and this and this and that. So and it is confirmed that the original director is involved. The original creator is involved. The original voice of Chucky is involved, and it was just announced that the original, Jennifer Tilly, who played Tiffany in like The Bride of Chucky, that's where she started. So she will be reprising her role as Tiffany. So you've got pretty much the whole like original ensemble kind of coming back, and I forget. I think they had who was going to play Andy, an older version of Andy. Yeah, so that's gonna be really cool. I'm really curious to see what Sci-Fi can do, or the Sci-Fi Network can do with like the Chucky story, and how you're gonna translate such a horror movie to the general masses, putting it on like on TV. So that'll be interesting to see what.
Well, I'm kind of curious too, because sometimes their production value is slightly lacking in their original stuff. Yeah. So I'm kind of. I mean, it has a lot of potential.
I tell you what. I mean, it's low budget for sure, and maybe that's what they need, because obviously this reboot of Chucky was they threw bank at it. I mean, it had like drones, and it was a CGI Chucky, and so we know money doesn't equal success. So right. Maybe a gritty Muppet version where it's super low res and low budget. Maybe that's I always say, if the story's there, you can sidestep a lot of bad CGI. You can sidestep a lot of bad acting if there's a really good story and a good director, somebody who can be a visionary and kind of put the pieces together. You can really you can make something happen. So okay, so next up is. So this one, it hurts me. One of my favorite comic book series, and it's one that was not a Marvel, not a DC. It was called Y, letter Y, The Last Man. And for those that don't know, it's this series. It was a comic book series where it told the story of this guy who wakes up one day and is literally the last man on Earth. And I don't mean like the last person, the last man. The entire world lost every male mammal. So be it monkeys, horse, dog, anything with the Y chromosome died one night. And he wakes up and he's literally the last man on earth. And it's just nothing but women. Some might say that's a paradise. Some might say that's a nightmare. Who knows? But in this series, and it's a very long series. It lasted for quite a while. It's him trying to come to terms with being the last man, and why is it him? And obviously a lot of some portion of women are like, we need to get him and because he's got to repopulate the earth, and then there's some forms of women that are like become a cult, and they're like, oh, he's got to die too, and it's a wild series. It's a wild series. I highly recommend it if you've never read it. Anybody out there, Why the Last Man is a great series. Now, I bring it up in TV news because it's been optioned to be released as a series for a long time, much like The Walking Dead was. In fact, when The Walking Dead had season 1 and it hit such critical success, that was one of the first options that got snapped up was Why the Last Man, because it's a very similar concept in its post-apocalyptic, world and whatever. And so that got snapped up, but it's constantly been kicked down the curb, changing in direction, changing leadership, changing cast, changing all these different things. And it's been constantly pushed off. So the most recent was that the FX network picked it up, and it was looking good. It was looking really, 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 really good. Unfortunately, or I should say, they had the actor from Dunkirk, Barry Keegan. He was supposed to be Yannick, the last man, and unfortunately, he just announced that he's going to be no longer with the project. And I think he was an incredible get as an actor, and I think that with the right scripts and the right source material, it would have been an incredible series. Really, really good, really relevant series. It really tackles a lot of things about like gender, race, class, survival, all these different elements, and I think it would have been it's going to be a great show. At some point, it's got to come to light. It's such a good series. They've got a bunch of really good, talented actors working on it. They've got a good showrunner on it. So obviously now they need to find themselves a new lead actor. But I'm really, you'll see. Mark my words, you'll see this year, next year, the year after. Why the Last Man will become a series. It will, I think, hit maybe not quite as big as Walking Dead, because that one really took off. And I was a big Walking Dead fan prior to the show. I had all the comics, and I knew it would be big. But man, it spawned all the shows, spin-off shows. So that obviously went big. So I think it'll be very big, very much in the vein of like the original Walking Dead series. So there's that.
As FX,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry, say that again.
FX.
Yeah, that's gonna be on the FX network. Yep. So that one.
Wonderful Archer.
Yeah, Archer. That's right. That's a great show. That's a really good show. The last season or two, it's kind of petered a bit. I think I'm a much bigger fan of like the first couple seasons, but I'm excited. I think they can get back to doing good stuff. It's hard, man. Any show, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people. Any show that goes 6+ seasons, you stray further and further what made the original season great. You look at any series that's ever been produced and has lasted 5-6 seasons, the further you get away from that season one is you get away from what people loved. In some cases that can be good, in some cases that can be bad. I look at shows like Dexter. Dexter was a show that every season got better and better and better. And then the end of season 4 happened. And it one of the best endings of a season I've ever seen on any TV show. And then seasons 5 and 6 really kind of took a tank. And then ended just really poorly. Tying into the next thing, Friends. Friends lasted 10 years, and again, critical success throughout the whole run, and ended at a pretty high point. But you can't say that the last season or two, it was kind of like they're kind of phoning it in. They're kind of just biding their time, collecting their paychecks, and getting ready to move on to the next thing. It didn't have that magic of the first couple seasons. But I bring up Friends because apparently there was a big bidding war, right? So Netflix had the rights to do Friends on the repeats, and it brought a kind of a second life to that show that had been off the air for a long time. And all of a sudden, their license ran out, and they went to renew it, and now there was a bidding war, and all these networks, so Hulu, Netflix, all these different companies that are streaming services were bidding for the right to show Friends, the repeats. And so finally, it was HBO Max, which as a streaming service hasn't even come out yet. And they won the bidding war as far as who can air Friends episodes. And so once HBO Max does come out as a streaming service, they will have Friends as one of their like flagship shows. But to tag on to that is that they're actually going to produce a reunion special. They're going to bring back the entire cast, the entire showrunners. I mean, literally the entire cast, the creators, the showrunners, all going to do an unscripted special where they just, I guess, talk about the show and relive the glory days. Now, from what I could find, the special, not what they paid to get Friends and to air Friends on this HBO Max service, but the special they're going to produce, and it is, I don't know if it's an hour special, 2 hour special, whatever, it's going to cost an estimated $20 million to get all those actors to get in one place to sit down to shoot an unscripted, like, I don't know if it's going to be a tell-all or just a behind-the-scenes look or just a reunion special, where are they now kind of special, but $20 million to get these actors all in one place again, to record this special for, and again, it'll be on HBO Max. So if you need a reason to get another streaming service, there you go. HBO Max is going to have Friends, and that'll be coming up sometime, I think it's late this year or early next year. So that's that. And one last thing I'll talk about streaming, and again, this is kind of a Netflix series, but it ties into gaming as well, which I'm very excited about. Resident Evil. Everyone knows Resident Evil, right, Radar? I mean, you know Resident Evil.
Even I know that.
Everybody knows Resident Evil, right? Whether it's from the game that you played as a kid, the game you played as an adult with the newer games, or the Mila Jovovich run, not even a trilogy, a quadrilogy, where they came out like 7 of them. So you know of Resident Evil, and so Netflix has optioned Resident Evil as a Netflix series. It's very exciting because I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil video games, and I enjoyed the movies. They're a bit mindless, gory, crazy, horror-esque movies, but I enjoyed them. I thought they were fun movies to watch and enjoy. Especially towards the end, they got very much like Fast and the Furious, where it just got real crazy. I wanted to do the pun where it got real ludicrous, but that was too easy pun. But it got real wild and crazy as the series went on. So now they're going to do a much more gritty Netflix version of the show. And Netflix actually kind of slipped up because they posted a synopsis before they were supposed to. They posted it and literally like minutes later pulled it down. But you know how the internet is. Once it's out there, man, people will find it. And so somebody had captured it and they put it up. And so the snippet goes: the town of Clearfield, Maryland, has long stood in the shadow of the 3 seemingly unrelated behemoths: the Umbrella Corporation, the decommissioned Greenwood Asylum, and Washington, D.C. Today, 26 years after the discovery of the T-virus, secrets held by the 3 will start to be revealed at the first signs of a new outbreak. So there you go. That's the synopsis of the new Resident Evil series coming soon, which again hasn't even really been published, but thanks to someone in marketing making a little boo-boo, that got out there. And again, this is all speculation. All that could change by the time they decide to officially release something for it. But Clearfield, Maryland, that's near where I'm at, so I'm excited because I'm in the DC metro area. So Clearfield, Maryland is kind of my backyard. So what's that, Mike Larson? Fun fact: Mila Jovovich has 11 toes. See Dazed and Confused for proof. I'm gonna bring Mike Larson in as like a correspondent, like random trivia correspondent. He's just gonna have weird tidbits like she's got 11 toes. So yeah, so that's thank you for that. All right, so switching gears, we've talked movies, we've talked TV, but there's so much more to pop culture, isn't there? I think it's time. Oops.
He served in the U.S. Army for 6 years, deploying once to Iraq and once to Afghanistan. I have a few fun facts for you. He was shot 5 times.
There we go. Sorry about that. That's a sneak peek of what's coming up later in the show. Da-da-da-da-da-da. All right, what was I saying? Yes. Okay. We are talking, we've talked movies, we've talked TV. I think it's time for gaming news. Gaming news. Yes, I like games. So
this is getting more in my wheelhouse.
yeah, we're finally sneaking into where you got a little familiarity and comfortability. Woo! I'm doing great. This is great. So, for anybody in the know, in the gaming world, there's a huge game being developed called Marvel's Avengers. And very much in the same way that, the Spider-Man game came out, was it a year or two ago? This is going to be Marvel's version of that. And the idea is that it is being developed by Square Enix. And Square Enix is legendary for making some phenomenal games, Final Fantasy being among them. So they're very built around storytelling. They're very built around just really good cinematics. And so thinking of that in a Marvel Avengers style is going to be really cool to see. It's not open world in the sense of like, let's say a Grand Theft Auto where you can just kind of go anywhere. It is a bit linear. It's going to be big, but a bit linear. Now, one of the cool aspects is that like you'll be able to change the appearance of the characters and like don different uniforms, and I believe it's gonna have like power ups and like you put this helmet on for this power up and whatnot. So it's gonna be very good. Now, the reason it's in the news is because it was supposed to be released in May. Sad news is that they just announced it's being pushed, and it won't be released until early to mid-September, around September 4th. So that's about a 4-month push, and it's disappointing, but I'm a big fan of when a company can say, you know what, we need more time, it's not good yet, give us time, trust us. I'm a big fan of that, because as much as I want to play the game, I also don't want to pay $60 or however many bucks to play a game that is laggy or glitchy or doesn't connect, or these games are a dime a dozen. They rush to hit a date, and then they know it's not ready, because the minute you put it in the system, there's a download for an update, because literally they're working up to the last minute, and they know they can ship out the disc but also push that last bit of information online. So I appreciate and I respect when a company can say, you know what, this isn't to our expectations, this isn't to what we want to develop for you guys, give us more time and we'll make the game that much better. So kudos to them for recognizing that they need more time to develop it. Another thing I'm excited and I can announce now is I have a very good friend who is an editor at Marvel, and he is also heading up a lot of the big stuff that they're doing in the gaming market, to include Marvel's Avengers. So he is going to be coming on later this year, probably closer, that May, June, July, where they're going to be gearing up to do a lot of press for the game. And so he's going to come on, give us a couple exclusives, talk about the game, and show us, some fun stuff. So I'm really excited for that part, because as again, huge comic book fan and a huge gaming fan, this merges those two passions together. So I'm very excited to talk to him and have him on the show. So stay tuned for that, and we'll announce more once we can nail down a date, which it would have been sooner, but now with the game getting released, it kind of pushes that back. So we'll see.
But I'll throw this out.
Go for it.
So you look at like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Every fucking time that comes out,
Mm-hmm.
it's all to meet their date.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really, really happy that the just went back to let it be refined and ready to play, and not, I don't know, not a Call of Duty.
Yeah, unfortunately, anytime a game has a strict release window. So I think of Call of Duties, Assassin's Creeds were coming out damn near every year. All those games where they're forced under the gun, it's gonna cause problems. Maybe the best case scenario are games that are like sports games. So like I play every year Madden. I know guys that play every year's FIFA or every year's NBA game. Those games tend to be more like they have their problems. They have their problems with its connections or glitchy or whatever. They tend to be more solid only because they're building off of last year's model. They're adding slight new features every year. So it's not a complete rehaul. When you go from Assassin's Creed whatever, or what was it, Assassin's Creed Rogue or something like that, and then jump to the one, it was like the one with the pyramids and then the one in London, you can't say you've reused any of that. You've created an entirely new game, and it shows. It shows when they're rushing to production. So where like I can play Madden 18, Madden 19, Madden 20, technically different games, 80 to 90% of it's the same. They've updated stats, they've updated maybe the look of a stadium or a uniform, but the core mechanics, most of the core mechanics are the same. And that's as a guy who buys them every year, so I can tell you that because I buy them. And so, you know, I appreciate when a company can say, "Hey, we need more time," and I applaud that. I applaud that. Tying back into movies is Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog movie, when they released that first trailer, I don't know if you saw this, it was an abomination. Mm-hmm. That you can't say that thing looked anything like Sonic or like a hedgehog. I don't know what type of weird fever dream they had envisioned that he looked like this weird human-esque blue hog thing. Like, it didn't make sense. I don't know whose idea it was. It was terrible. And that backlash hit them so hard and so fast, they had to take a step back and go, you know what? Our bad. We tried something, and we'll go make what you guys want. And they did it. And I respect, like, I didn't plan on going to see Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, because that's not exactly my demographic. But because they listened to the fans and they said, you know, we hear you and we want to do right by you, like, I might go see it. I might. I'm leaning towards going to see it. We'll see it. We'll come back and we'll find out. But, you know, because you gotta say, hey, we support you for making the right decision. Because now, if you know they delayed the movie months, they completely redesigned the character. You gotta think how many million shots that they'd have to digitally go in and recreate. And now if the movie still bombs, then it's like, well, why the hell did we bother? And you don't want to set that precedent. You want companies to go, well, if we listen to the fans, they will in turn show up, because that's what we want, right? We want, as a fan of whatever it is, whether it be Mortal Kombat, BioShock, whatever the game you love or the source material you love, you want them to give you the best representation that they can. And it doesn't, I'm not saying, because look at the Marvel universe, they don't do a one-for-one reshot. They don't retell a story. Civil War and all these different stories weren't exactly like it was in the comic books. They represent the source material in a way that's good for the movie, and it honors what's there. What DC's doing in the DC movie universe is, I can't tell you. I don't understand. They try to follow the source material, but then go like wildly off course. And you know, like I was going to talk about it, but you know, I went to see Birds of Prey, the Harley Quinn. Wait, Birds of Prey, Harley and the Emancipation of Harley Quinn, which has now been renamed. Literally 3 days into its run, the movie's been renamed to Harley Quinn ... Birds of Prey. It was a good movie. It was a fun movie. I have nothing against girl gang movie and you know, they're trying to do the character. I don't like when you change the core of the character. So you can tell me a Harley Quinn story that has nothing to do with the comic books, which this movie had nothing to do with the comic books. They took characters and there's no story really tied to it at all. But don't change the character. Don't change the core of the character. Harley Quinn is a violent sociopath who has no morals and no cares about anybody and uses any method, whether it's violence, sexuality, whatever, to get whatever she wants. And in the movie, she's sad and sappy and non-violent. She, there's a scene where she goes into the police station, doesn't hurt. She hits him with like the beanbag, like the beanbag shotgun, basically. She did nothing violent to anyone. Now there are other scenes where mob guy, she shatters his leg, or other random bystander shoots him in the face. Like, so they couldn't show hurting police officers. So again, it's not in her character. So anyway, side tangent. I'm all for telling an original story. Just don't change what the character is. Like that is the character. Then just make a new character. If you're gonna change completely who they are, change the name and make them a new character. I had this conversation with a good buddy of mine, and we talked about can Batman be anything else but a white billionaire? White from old money. Like he can't be a black guy. And here's why. It's not a racial thing. I'm not saying a black guy can't be Batman. It's just the core of who Batman is he comes from old money. He has guilt, a tie to that his family is this billionaire and the city is struggling, and he takes personal ownership of that, and he's going to protect the city. There isn't a black guy in the world that feels that, his old money is causing problems to society and he should take ownership of that. It's just not right. You can make him gay. I mean, that's Batman could be gay. There's nothing wrong with that. Spider-Man could be an Asian kid from Brooklyn or from Manhattan. There's certain elements that could be in anybody, and there's certain elements that are true to who that character is. And so for that, I think you can't mess with certain things. So anyway, whatever. That's my whole side tangent on what they're trying to do with characters and character assassination and neutering of beloved characters. It is what it is. Sorry, I get passionate about this stuff because I grew up with these guys. These are my friends. These are my family. These are my people. And I don't like when people mess with them. Just like I wouldn't want nobody messing with my brother and sisters in arms. My family. I don't want you messing with my characters either. So, all right, but we're talking games. So a couple quick things. For those fans of BioShock, I'm sure you heard of the BioShock series. They had 3 games, wildly popular. Sound familiar, Radar?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, underwater, a trope of like city gone mad. Great games, phenomenal trilogy of games. I loved all 3 of them for very different reasons, but they were all phenomenal. 2K, the company that has developed the games, has announced that there is BioShock 4, which is the title. As of now, it's not an official title, but it's BioShock 4 is in development with the company called Cloud Chamber, which is a brand new developer that unfortunately has no relation to Kevin Levine, who was the original creator of the series. So, a little sad that the original creator is not going to be involved, but very cool that they're working on a new game. The last game that came out in like 2013. So there is, there's some excitement around that. So that is coming. Now, unfortunately, the newest thing is that it's not close, and it's going to be several years before we see that game. So possibly 2 to 4 years before that game ever sees the light of day. But it's coming, so I'm excited. I like the BioShock series, and excited to see them take it to the next level. Far Cry, which is one of those games that kind of come out repetitively, and it's had other iterations, so much like your Call of Duties or things like that. Far Cry 6 is in the works and will be releasing soon. According to a new report, Far Cry 6 is in development at Ubisoft, and is releasing pretty soon, presumably on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series One, XPS. So last week, they had an earnings call where they revealed that there were 5 games coming out between April 2020 and March 21. So 5 games. Now, they've already announced Watch Dogs Legion, which is going to be phenomenal, Gods and Monsters, and one that I'm really curious about, Rainbow Six Quarantine, which Rainbow Six has been a legendary series for a long time, and I know Rainbow Six Siege is a big thing in the multiplayer world. So if you figure, okay, those 3 games have been announced, and the other tidbit that they gave was the other 2 that were unannounced were going to be part of from their biggest franchises. Now they already said that it's not going to be Splinter Cell, which kills me because Splinter Cell is absolutely one of my Sam Fisher, one of my all-time favorite games. So it's not going to be Splinter Cell. So you got to figure those other two games are going to be Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. Those are looking good and coming out. What do you think if they make God of War movie? Oh, God of War the movie. That's here's the thing. Is it Roberto? Hey, the God of War movie, like as a movie, the God of War franchise, it's so good and it's so cinematic that I think making a movie would actually would not do it justice. Those games are, if you play it through one shot, you're talking 6 to 8 hours of phenomenal storytelling and phenomenal gameplay and phenomenal cinematics. I don't think you can do it justice in a movie. Maybe, much like they did with The Witcher in Netflix, maybe you could do it as a series. Maybe you could say it's a Netflix series or something of that, Hulu or Amazon Prime Video, whatever, but do it as an episodic series. And then I think you can do a really good God of War story. But as a movie, I think if they did it, it would just come out missing. It would come out short. They've been talking about doing The Last of Us, which was a phenomenally great story, phenomenally great game. They've been talking about doing a series or a movie about that, and that worries me because, again, you can't. Then people get mad. People get mad because you're condensing this story into a 90-minute narrative that you connected with. And especially when it comes to games and movies, you connect with these things. You are that character. You experience what they experience. And now you're taking yourself out of that and you're putting it in front of a screen and you're watching the experience happen. So already you're disconnected from, if you go to see this movie, you're already disconnected from it because you're not the character, you're watching the character. And now add on to that, you're shrinking this story that's just massive and you're just crushing it into a 90-minute movie. It doesn't bode well. It doesn't bode well. So as far as I would love, a God of War movie would be incredible, especially a big budget one. But I don't think it's gonna be it'd be good for us as the fans. But if The Witcher proved anything, you can make a really good miniseries or show about it. So that's coming. So Far Cry 6. I will hit two more things in gaming because we're running real short on time. Two more things on gaming, and so for those that love Batman, the Arkham series, they are making a new Arkham series game. It is it's in development at Warner Brothers Montreal. It's apparently going to be released this fall, so we should be hearing about it real soon. This will be a soft reboot of the franchise. The original makers of the game was Rocksteady, and they moved on to do other stuff. So originally the idea behind the pitch was that, in the last game, spoiler alert if you didn't finish it, last game, Batman's done. He's done as Batman. So they were going to do a legit sequel follow-up, and it was going to be about Batman's son picking up the cowl and becoming Batman. They decided against that. They're basically doing a soft reboot. So it'll be an Arkham series game, but it'll be an all new story, all new kind of direction, not necessarily pretty much disregarding the last series and just kind of, like I said, a soft reboot. So that's coming. And apparently they're working on a Superman. So Rocksteady, who left making the Arkham series, is actually developing apparently developing a DC Universe game. So it's gonna be like a Justice League, kind of like the Marvel's Avengers game, but they're doing a DC game. And then another company is working on a Superman game. And apparently the idea is that all these companies are kind of like gonna, I don't know, in a very Marvel Universe kind of way, like all the games are gonna kind of be connected even though 3 different developers are working on it, they're gonna be kind of tied together and in some aspect or another. I don't know. It's just been rumored. So you're going to have like the Batman game, the Superman game, this DC game, all kind of lead to like almost like a Justice League kind of video game. So it'd be really interesting to see how they pull this off, but we'll see. I got to see. We got people saying that Huge fan of the Assassin's Creed, but I never saw the movie. You know, good for you. I did see the movie, and I love the actors that were in it, and I love the source material. It wasn't really a good movie. It wasn't good. Not much to say other than, yeah, you don't need to see it. The Witcher was great. Yes, I agree. Let's talk about the Black Widow movie. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Not now, but I'll tell you what. Next week, I'll definitely dive into the Black Widow movie. I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be awesome, and I think that there's, you know, the people are calling this kind of like a throwaway movie because, you know, she's technically dead and after the Avengers, and this is taking place before that, and so it doesn't really matter. But I think there's going to be some really, really, really cool stuff coming out of this movie, including one of my favorite villain / anti-heroes, Taskmaster. Just a really cool character. I mean, just dope superpowers, and yeah, I'm super excited for what they're gonna do with that. So we'll definitely talk about Black Widow next week. I'm excited to do that. All right, so before we wrap up here, let's hit this last thing I wanted to talk to you about. This is no longer gaming news, so we'll take that away. But just, yes, some interesting news. And Radar, I'd love to get your feedback. So Six Flags, as in Six Flags of America, the amusement park, is basically challenging couples to lie in a coffin together for 30 straight hours. Now, they will pay you $600 if you complete it. And on top of that $600, they will also give you gold season passes for the two people and a Fright Fest prize package. I have a little graphic here that I'll pull up. Let's see if I can find it. But yeah, so the idea being that I just in my mind I can't fathom. The idea being that you're going to be in this coffin. You're going to be in this coffin, and now, so the pictures that you're seeing are from last year, and it was a single person. You were in the coffin, and so the difference is you were a single person. It never closed. So as you can see in the picture, you know, your bottom half was in the coffin, your top half was kind of exposed to the elements, and you were there for 30 hours. So like you couldn't really sleep because, you know, people were walking by and talking and taking pictures, whatever. So it's very, you know, you're exposed to the elements and whatnot. So for this, they are, you know, they're now for this year they're doing couples. So let me read this because this is crazy to me. This is crazy to me. I'm a married man. I don't know if I could do this. I hope my wife's not listening. I love you. But so it's okay. So spend 30 long hours together inside a 65 by 72 inch coffin. In addition to spending 30 hours straight alongside a friend or partner, coffin dwellers will be required to participate in extra challenges that will test their bravery. The 30-hour couples coffin challenge will take place at Six Flags in Bowie, Maryland. Everything's in Maryland. I love it. The challenge begins at 4 p.m. on Friday, September 27th, and ends 10 p.m. the next day. The coffins won't actually be buried underneath ground, but after lying in a box for 30 hours with the lid closed, you may begin to feel like it. The unlucky duo selected to compete are allowed to bring one friend during the Fright Fest hours, but they will have to leave all smartphones, smartwatches, gaming devices, any other technology out of their resting place, and smoking will not be allowed. So if you're a smoker, it's a long 30 hours. According to the official rules, eating, checking social media, and sending emails to update the outside world on the status of your pulse will be allowed during designated 6-minute breaks. And then in those 6-minute breaks, the coffin is open. Contestants will be allowed to sit up but not leave their wooden bed. There will also be 6-minute restroom breaks every 3 hours, but any couple that leaves the coffin outside of the breaks will be disqualified. Six Flag America warns that participants will potentially be exposed to fog, dramatic lighting, flash photography, extreme weather conditions, and that the rules may be altered for safety. At the 30-hour challenge last year, all the contestants made it through, but it wasn't easy. They had to deal with the cold weather and had to sprint to bathrooms to be able to make it back in the 6-minute time limit. They also had to lie in the coffins with the lids open the whole time, which came with its own unique challenges. So, That being said, solo or couple, could you lie in a coffin for 30 straight hours?
30 hours.
30 hours.
Absolutely.
You think so?
Absolutely. Leave my kids at home, close the lid, and sleep 30 hours.
Yeah, okay. All right, but now, okay, now as a couple, that's two people inside one wooden box that's closed. God forbid one of you farts. I'm just that's
right.
That it's over. It's over. I'm out.
Ms. Radar.
Yes.
Would probably do it with someone else because I'm fat. I don't know how big that box is, but
I mean, you know,
might be a big one.
Yeah. If I mean, yeah, that's I'm looking at these pictures and you know, and again, they're the solo coffins and it's with the lids open. I don't know if I could I don't know anybody that I could be pressed against for 30 hours in a closed box. That's insane. And so now, and it's not that you're going to win 600 individually because now you got to split that prize money. So you're only making $300 out of it, and you know passes to Six Flags or whatever. But yeah, so that's entirely too much for me. With that being said, yeah, awesome.
Just for $600, that's not worth it.
It's not worth it, man.
Wait,
it's not
maybe
worth it.
If the solo one is closed, and I can just sleep for like 30 hours, like wake me up, I'll go to the bathroom, whatever, that's cool. I don't even need my phone to like update people. I don't give a shit anyway. Just
yeah, I mean,
that's sleep and let them be all right.
I mean, yeah, that's so. I guess that's the idea is that they did the solo challenge last year, and everybody finished it. Everybody was like, sweet. And you look at everybody in the picture. I think they're all guys. I think there's one lady back there. But it's like, 30 hours of peace and quiet and privacy. Fuck yeah, I could do that. They're like, okay, you're done. Like, no, give me a couple more hours. I'm not done yet. So I guess can
I keep the box and take it to the lake? Go fishing.
Exactly. So I guess that's the idea of making it the couples challenges. That I can foresee not everybody making it through it this time. So
I don't know.
We will.
That'd be tough. I want to go watch it though. Because I'm like that dude. Okay, like we were at the store the other night. Ms. Radar and I we were at the store, and there was a couple that was like just seething with anger, right? Just mad at each other. And they were like going and like I don't remember what they're like in the frozen food section. She's like, "You didn't get the carrots." And just all mad as hell at her husband, right? And we just kept like walking by, and he was just like all sullen and downtrodden, and just like he's like, we like went over to get cheese or whatever, and he was just like there. And I'm just like, oh, I'm just glad my wife lets me get whatever cheese I want and put it like in the cart and walked away. And so I would do the same thing with the couples in the deals, right? I would just fuck with them. I'd just be like throwing rocks at them and shit, like when the doors lock closed, just to get them to fight. And like when they got out, I'd be like, oh, like hand the guy a burrito before he climbs back in the free. Yeah, it'd be totally fun. I totally do that. Yeah. But as far as being in the box, no, I'm good.
Yeah, you run like you got to run in as they run to the bathroom. You run in there, just lay a nasty fart, and then you close the lid.
Yes.
Come back, and they're like, nope, we're done, we're out.
Like 2 minutes beforehand, just go lock the stall. I gotta wait in line and shit. Yeah. Yes, that'd be me.
Yeah, get a group of your friends to like take up all the stalls in the nearby bathroom, and you're just like, we're gonna be here a while, and then they have to go back holding it. All right. Woo, man. Can you believe it's 2 hours already?
I told you it was fast.
It flew by, man. It flew by. We're gonna have some stories to bump to next week if not new stuff comes up. But all right. I mean, guys, thank you for everybody who's still listening and still participating. I see you guys lighting up the chat boards. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being part of this. And I'm super excited for where this show's gonna go. It's only gonna get better. Like I said, please hit me up, CQ Comedy on Facebook. At CQ_WTFNR on Twitter, and or email CQ at WTFNationRadio.com. Share stories, share stuff you want to talk about, share everything. I'm so excited. I can't believe we didn't get a single caller. I think I really anticipated a couple of my friends making some prank phone calls or something. So either out of respect or love or appreciation, I don't know, but we're gonna have to change that next time. We definitely want to have some callers in and talk about some fun stuff. So, Radar, thank you so much for being here and being a part of this. Thank you for supporting me the whole time. I mean, you wanna say anything to the kids at home?
Oh, hey, thanks for coming back. I know it's been a bit since we've had Tuesdays going. What, 2 months or so?
Yeah,
a little over. So, hey, I'm glad you're here, CQ. It's been a blast, man, and this is a cool show. This is neat to have something of a different flavor too, and I hope everyone enjoys it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just wait, man. It's only gonna get better. Wait till we start bringing in. I've got some amazing guests lined up coming up. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so much. I have ideas. I want to take you guys on my adventures. I go to a lot of conventions. I do a lot of traveling. I'm in LA all the time, so I want the show to travel with me. So when I'm home, host from home, but maybe go live from San Diego Comic-Con or E3, the Electronics Gaming Exposition, and take you guys with me and be this mobile show for you guys. And any way I can make the show better, please let me know. It matters not what I want to do if the fans aren't interested. So I definitely want to give you guys the best show I can. So stay tuned. We got shows the rest of the week. We got the Charges Time, and I know we had the Monday edition yesterday, and so Kicking It with Kaz. There's a ton of great shows. For those of you that are new to WTF, please check out the other shows. There's some really incredible shows and people talking about some real stuff. Not this crappy, silly kid stuff that I'm talking about, but guys are talking about real political issues and military issues and things that really matter in today's society. So check out the other shows. I appreciate you guys staying on. Like I promised, I'm going to end this show with a clip of comedy. And now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get someone on such short notice, so you guys are stuck watching a clip of my comedy. But I promise you, this will be the last time I ever force anyone to watch my comedy. So with that, I bid you guys adieu. Thank you for being a part of this. I look forward to next week. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy some comedy. Shots.
He served in the U.S. Army for 6 years, deploying once to Iraq and once to Afghanistan. I have a few fun facts for you. He was shot 5 times, died twice. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your last comic for the evening, Michael Carrasquillo.
How's it going? So, like you said, I was in the Army. Obviously, that was many, many years ago. There's something I learned about being in the Army. There's something about basic training that just makes people dumber. I don't know if it's the food, the sleep deprivation, the repeated concussions. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. For example, before I went into basic training, I was an honor roll student, a valedictorian, probably on my way to curing cancer. After? I was what we lovingly refer to as a window licker. For the non-military, as a dumb private is what the term is. And now, if I take a second, when I do this, I'm doing air quotes. See, I'm missing my middle finger, so this is not apostrophe end quote. So, I was a dumb private, but I like to think of myself as not just any old dumb private. I like to think I set the gold standard for dumb privates. This one time, you know how you're not supposed to put regular gas in a diesel engine? You know how most military vehicles are diesel engines? Well, I filled it with, don't get ahead of me, water. Yeah, told you, gold star. Now, if you think it, why would he put water in the diesel engine? Well, you see, I had once overheard, as a dumb private, that amphibious assault vehicle meant it could drive on water. Take it up, take it up. Another time, I got one of these emails. Stop me if you've heard this one. I got one of these emails from the royal family of Nigeria. I was very sad to hear that Prince Mustafa wasn't doing so well. He was on his deathbed. My heart went out to them. He wanted to send me his many millions of US dollar. So you guys have heard this one. So after I paid all the legal fees and importation fees and documentation fees, all non-refundable, of course. Turns out he battled through it and he was okay at the end. So no money for me. If you're looking for the punchline in that joke, it's my life. That's the joke. That's my life. So I got through it though. I got past being the dumb private, ended up having a pretty good career, 6 years of it, like you heard. Unfortunately, on my second combat tour, I was shot 5 times. 5 times. I always forget. And yeah. It's okay to laugh. It's okay. Gotta laugh. In fact, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for a little help from above. 2 Apache gunships just came in and leveled the whole countryside. It was a sight to see. So, there I am, laying down on my back, bleeding to death. And medic comes running over. I'm freaking out. He hits me with that morphine. Yeah. I highly recommend it if you get the chance. Not the shot part, the morphine part. That's fantastic. So he hits me with that morphine, and it's amazing where your mind will go when you're bleeding to death and tripping balls at the same time. So I'm laying there, and I look up at Doc, and I say, Doc, if I die, and they make a movie about this, you make sure they get Vin Diesel to play me. You gotta love Army medics, because this dude, without skipping a beat, looks down at me. He goes, shut the hell up. What are you, I'm trying to save you. Like, besides, you look more like Jonah Hill. They say laughter is the best medicine. I can assure you in that moment, it was not. It was not. So, you know what's great about being a disabled vet? Nothing. What is wrong with, why would you even think something like that? That's just me. This sucks. I can't complain though, I'm alive, right? For a dumb private, I'm alive. I've got great stories to tell, and I'll have you know, I'm actually rather rich. Well, I will be rich. Once Prince Mustafa really dies, I'm gonna have so much money. Thank you guys.